And I'll stay here, I'll stay in case, which is certain. In life that's full, I've traveled each and every highway and more, much more than this. I admit my way. Regrets, I had a few, but then again, if you can chance, I did what I had to do and saw it through without exemption. And each charted course, each careful step along my way, and more, much more than this, I admit my way. And yes, there were times, I'm sure you knew, when I bit off more than I could chew. But through it all, when there was doubt, I ate it up and spit it out. I faced it all and I stood tall and did it my way. I've loved, I've laughed and cried, I've had my fill, my share of losing. Now, as tears subside, I find it all so amusing to think I did all that, and may I say, not that I shy away. Oh no, oh no, not me. I did it my way. For what is a man? What has he got? If not himself, then he has not to say the things that he truly feels, and not the ways of what it is. The record shows that I took the road and did it my version of the Brooklyn Cafe Show, I bring you Dawn, and not Freddie, but one of our beautiful interns, Abdullah. Give him a round of applause. Thank you very much.
It's lunchtime, and the Brooklyn Cafe is open for business. Live from the Amp Media Studios, Dawn and Freddie S. and their team are ready to serve up a huge portion of fun for lunch with friends and neighbors. So let's break open that lunch pail and unwrap that sandwich you brought and take a front row seat in the Brooklyn Cafe and get ready to enjoy some humor and hot topics. It's time to get a healthy serving of hope and happiness to help your day go by with a smile. Your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S., are ready to talk about food, health, dating, or just plain dream making. If you have a story to share, movie review, restaurant critique, or just a coincidental thing that happened to you, call in toll free 888-994-4995, Studio A right now. Sit back and enjoy your lunch break at the Brooklyn Cafe. Here are your hosts, Dawn and Freddie S.
Believe it or not, it's not Freddie.
Talking to your mic.
Yeah, I believe it or not, it's not Freddie today. It's me, one of the interns.
What's your name?
I am Abdullah Al-Halabi, and I have been an intern since, was it January, was it?
Could be.
Yeah, it's been a while, but yeah.
So happy Thursday, everyone. Welcome to the Midday Show. Freddie is out today, but fortunately for us, it's National Intern Day. And Abdullah, we don't often call them interns, we call them producers. But since today is National Intern Day, I wanted to get you up close and personal with one of our behind-the-scenes producers, interns, Abdullah. He's one of the most amazing editors that we have. He does music videos, creates games, and he does everything from his laptop on the other side of the studio.
Yep.
How do you like working here?
It's honestly, I really like it. Chill atmosphere, and the fact that you are willing to accept my editing software. Like, normally the industry standard is Adobe Pro, but the thing is, like, you're fine with me just using my own editing program, Vegas Pro, which is like not industry standard, because I spent so much time invested into like Vegas Pro. Like, it feels kind of wrong for me to switch to a new editing program. But, like, I had a funny history with like Vegas Pro. Like, at first I started it off like with pirating it, but then, like, when it came time for an update, I was forced to legally buy it. But back then I did not know that, like, I thought it would be a one-time payment, and ended up becoming a yearly payment. And I got charged hard that depleted my bank account, and
All right, let me find your bank account. Let me ask you, what have you learned here at the studio?
Well, I learned how
Leave
to.
your bank account over there.
Okay. I've learned how to operate the soundboard. That's definitely a technical skill, and I have learned about the general work atmosphere and what is to be expected, and I know how to do stuff on time and whatnot. Like, I think I remembered. One time, I think Freddie gave me an assignment that was supposed to be done by one of our different producers, but, like, I'm not gonna say who, but because, like, that producer was taking longer than it should have, and I completed that within, like, I think, like 1 to 2 days.
And you've done a great job ever since. We just know what motivates Abdullah is food. So he needs a sign that says, "We'll work for food," and we try to keep him in food. So today should be Pizzerica Thursday. They're located right here on 20th Street, and they are kind enough to donate pizzas to our students, to our crew every Thursday as part of our Amp Media Futures Foundation, which is a 501c non-for-profit, which we are very fortunate because over the years we've worked with hundreds and hundreds of interns, and we now actually are officially a 501c3 to bring awareness to diversity, equity, and inclusion in the workforce, in our workspace of production, media production, business, marketing, and everything that goes with it. So you'll see them when you come into the studio working in another room. You may hear them chit-chatting and collaborating. But this business is all about creativity, collaboration, and acceptance of everyone right where they're at. So thank you for all of you for always joining us, and for your patience, and for our crew and our interns for what they do.
Yeah.
And I have to do your evaluation this week.
Yes, that's due on the 26th. I believe today's the 25th.
And you keep me right on point. That would be tomorrow, huh?
Yeah.
What school do you go to?
What?
What school do you go to?
Oh, I go to FAU.
And what's your major?
Multimedia studies. I am almost practically done with it. Like, the internship class I need 120 credits to get a bachelor's degree. After the internship class ends, which is it should be this. I think it should be overall by next week. I will have a total of 117 credits.
Okay. Well, congratulations.
So yeah, I just need to take my final class, multimedia practicum, and that's it. The only issue is that's only available in the spring.
I have an idea for you.
What?
We'll talk off air.
Oh, okay. But yeah, but honestly, I don't mind having a free fall. I could use that to catch up on like other
Well, maybe you can
things.
stay working with us and we can help apply that towards your practicum.
Perhaps.
Things to contemplate.
Yeah.
But FAU's been incredible. They work with us for many years and their students, and they really help give you guys the extra credits you need to work in a studio. So we're
Yeah.
happy that you found us, and welcome.
Yeah, my entire family is glad that I'm doing this because I'm doing something, productive and not just being at home all day.
And you're very good at what you do.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to play a piece that one of our other interns, Michael, has put together so you can spotlight some of our other producers that you'll see here in the studio. Take a quick commercial break, and when we come back, I get the honor of going all medical. Freddie's not here, so we can talk about the uncomfortable topics that he doesn't like to talk with. I've got Dr. Bibi and Dr. Acloque joining us for talking dermatology, internal medicine, probably some hormones and some general issues as well. So more to come on the other side of this break. You can follow us on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at the Brooklyn TV. Like and subscribe, and also at Ant Media Productions, where you can find all of our shows. And in the evenings, we're airing True Oldies Radio 95.3 and 96.9 from Fort Pierce all the way down to Key West. More to come. Check this out.
Do you have an idea for a show or a podcast? Do you want the opportunity to be on TV? Ant Media Productions is partnered with True Oldies Real Radio Station and powered by many online platforms such as Roku, Facebook, YouTube, and even Amazon Fire to help amplify your impact. Do you want your voice to reach a wide audience? Call us today at 866-224-5422.
Ant Media Productions is excited to announce our expansion into North Miami. With our experienced team of radio and TV professionals, we are dedicated to bringing North Miami the highest quality audio and visual production services. Whether you need radio or television commercials, podcasts, music videos, or audio and visual storytelling, we can provide the solutions to help you reach your goals. Our team is reliable, innovative, and creative, and we're ready to help you develop the perfect product. With our competitive rates and personalized service, you can trust that your project is in the best hands. Contact us today to get started on your project. 866-224-5422.
Looking for art to add to your collection? Well, look no further. Here at Ant Media Studios, we house tons of art, ranging from abstract paintings to realistic portraits. Come on in and find the art that fits your home. Any and all art is up for sale, so pick yours up today. Stop by at 2400 Northwest 2nd Avenue, Boca Raton, Florida 33431. See you there!
Being a successful woman in business means having the courage to own who you are. We understand the challenges faced by women, and we are here to help. Our team is here to develop the best strategy designed just for you. Your path is unique, and with the right tools, you can accomplish your dream. From radio to TV, from podcasting to magazines, we create the visibility to amplify your impact in business. At New Dawn Media, We are here to help bring your message forward and help your business flourish. It is time for your message to be seen and your voice to be heard. Contact us at 866-224-5422 or brooklyncafe.tv. Your voice can make a difference.
Give me the mozzarella. Give me the mozzarella. Give me the mozzarella. Give me the mozzarella.
Pizza Rica, tasty Richard Pizza at 2001 Northwest Boca Raton Boulevard or contact 561-826-8663.
Give me the mozzarella. Give me the mozzarella. Give me the mozzarella. Give me the mozzarella.
Have you filed for disability benefits but were denied by the Social Security Administration? Or do you need to apply for benefits and are overwhelmed with paperwork? Are you between the ages of 50 to 63 and can no longer work because of an illness or injury? Thousands of hardworking Americans are in your situation. They file for disability benefits every month and are unnecessarily denied their much-needed benefit check. Call now for a no-obligation, free evaluation. We can help you nearly double your chances of approval and get your benefit checks faster. We understand the physical, emotional, and financial impact and will share our insider expertise. There is a time limit to apply. We're here to help you get your disability claim filed and paid as soon as possible. Please, time is limited. So, if you are between the ages of 50 to 63 and can no longer work because of an illness or injury, call right now and let us help you file your disability claim with the Social Security Administration.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
And we are back. I have the honor of talking to Dr. Yuval Bibi and Dr. Jude Acloque. We're talking medicine, what it's like to be a physician nowadays. It's different than it used to be back in the day. And I've got a friend whose son has now actually just been accepted to the MD business program at Miami. So our youth are still going into medicine for the reasons they want to go into it. But I think the mindset has probably changed a whole lot. We're going to be talking about internal medicine, testosterone, hormones, dermatology, and Dr. Bibi even specializes in general dermatology. So I guess it's a good thing Freddie's not here because he'd be all squirming in his seat next to him. But Freddie, we're thinking of you. Feel better. We're going to talk to the doctors about what's happening in healthcare. You can also find Dr. Bibi's book called Sick Skin. We're going to talk about all that. I went through it last night, and it's really interesting to see what we really need for our bodies versus what FOMO, fear of missing out, of what we're putting on our skin that the media tells us we need. So let's get into the conversation. Dr. Bibi and Dr. Acloque, thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
Today.
It's great to be
Medicine has
here.
changed so much. I remember my dad was a pediatrician back in the day. He's in his 80s now, and it was really different. He actually started practice making house calls. And he would go around New York with his bag, and he would go house to house seeing children. And then practices changed and everything. And then the whole thing here was, let's get bigger and better in our medical practices, right? One doctor, it's too hard for one solo practitioner, so we get bigger and bigger and bigger. And then those implode because we've got overhead and all the education, everything you guys have put forward. And now let's talk about your practices where they're at now. Dr. Bibi, welcome. You are a dermatologist in Palm Beach County. What type of practice are you in?
So I'm in private practice at the moment, and again, Dawn, it's great to be here. Private practice on Military and North Lake and Palm Beach Gardens, and we see anything and everything related to dermatology and skin.
And Dr. Acloque?
Yeah, so I'm an internist, so I have a primary care office, part of an MSO, Managed Service Organization, in Boynton Beach, Florida. So we're located on Woolbright and Military Trail. And so, your regular insurance-based model, and been open for 10 months now.
How's it going?
It's going good.
it's a process that you have to respect. I feel like it's going a little slow, but when I get feedback from others, they're like, wow, it's growing fast, it's steady, but it's a little bit of a challenge because you're so used to having to work or see so many people to be considered a complete day, right? And then you add on top of that, in the back of your mind, maybe more the front, that you have to see so many to actually be financially stable or start to become profitable. So it's a little bit of a battle because you don't want to be drowning having to see 25, 30 patients a day because that interaction goes out the window. But at the same time, if you don't, you won't get to where you would like to be financially. And we all have our responsibilities and obligations. So it's a little bit of a challenge.
And I think that's kind of like the change in the misnomer. You go to medical school. There's a reason you both went to medical school. I guess you've got bills to pay, but you went to help patients, find a better way. Dr. Bibi, what was because you went to medical school in Israel, which was different. Mm-hmm. Going to medical school in Israel, why did you decide to become a physician?
Well, it seemed very interesting to me, looking from the outside, that you can find solutions to help people who are in serious trouble in a lot of different ways. Mind you that my dad is a pediatrician. He's been a doctor for a very long time. But I didn't really know much about medicine going into medicine. It just seemed like a very mysterious way of finding solutions for people with serious life-changing problems. The longer I got into it, I found out that there's a whole lot more to it. But again, the satisfaction that I derived from seeing patients and helping them out really kept me in medicine as long as it has, and that's really what would seem to matter the most.
And the one thing about media, and I'm glad we're able to have this conversation, is that it becomes non-patient based when they're talking about physicians. It's a bad misnomer that doctors do what they do for money. Doesn't everybody work to pay their bills? Mm-hmm. But you do what you do to help patients, to help their families, to help a quality of life, to find solutions when we can't figure out the solutions. Don't do Dr. Google, by the way. Go see a real physician. But people try to Dr. Google themselves. But physicians are here, and I'm glad you guys are here, to talk about really what's important. Everyone's got bills to pay, but you're here and you went through all of this training to better mankind, to better our population, to help our community and their families. And that's why I think this is so important. I love the platform that we have, that we get to talk about some of the uncomfortable topics that people don't want to talk about. And again, we go on our phones and we're like, look at these symptoms. You can go on your phone with any symptom and find something that you think is terminal based on the internet. And you're laughing, you're shaking your head, yes.
I mean,
you must get it all. You both must get it all the time.
It's daily, not just patients, but friends, family. Like, I don't know how many times my mom calls me or texts me and she's like, hey, I saw on Google or I saw on Pinterest or TikTok and this and that. And I just like, Mom, stop. like, you have a question, ask me. We could talk about it. We kind of navigate it, but it's tough. But then the tougher part is you get these questions, you have these responses, you have these plans that you make up, and you set up a follow-up, and you're like, okay, they come in 2-3 months later. How's it going? Did you do such and such? Did you do this? And they're like, no. So not sure how you help someone who doesn't want to be helped after you've already helped them.
Well, that's the other side that's really hard, right? You recommend what you recommend. And we were talking before the show. I didn't realize your father's a pediatrician. So there's a whole lot of similarities here. My dad was a pediatrician, and I would do his billing for him, and he would get paid $32.56 for a patient visit. I would spend more time fighting with Medicaid or the insurance company for the hours that I sat on the phone than if they had sent the original check for the $32.56. And that's the hard part, is you want to have good health care, but our insurance companies are making things a little bit difficult.
Right. So the insurance company's model is to make money, and when you think about what they do, is that they actually ended up being, especially since the Affordable Care Act was installed, they ended up being middlemen who basically move money from the patient and the government to whatever is in the middle and then to the doctor at the end. And obviously this thing is, they need to make money. So the making money part, while they don't really contribute any value as far as medicine is concerned, they need to basically make money in other ways. So the other ways means that they may take a little bit of money off the top from the physicians, they may get some discounts from other providers of services, and obviously they want to keep the money coming in as high as possible. So you have all these conflict of interests of these organizations that are called insurance companies, but there's really a whole lot more to them and a whole lot more intricacies and government regulations that make them not quite what they seem on the surface. And that's why you run into all these trouble, because if you look at their profit model means they need to keep as much money as possible. Hence the denial of service process known as prior authorization, or what you encountered back in the day, which is rejection of claims, which is again denial of service to the people they contract to provide the services that give value to the organization in the first place.
Do you both take Medicare?
I do.
Yes.
You do as well. And that's a whole nother different conversation.
Right.
But let's get into what you both do. Dr. Bibi, I didn't read the entire book yesterday, but I got to get through a lot of the book. Talk about growing up in Israel, which I found so interesting, versus United States on skincare. Mm-hmm. You want to give us some background on all of that?
Yeah, that's a really interesting part of the book. So the book starts with my childhood, and I was growing up in Israel, and the skincare culture in Israel was actually very, very basic back in the 1980s, which was when I was a child. And what people usually did was very nonspecific. We had basically a handful of skincare products to use: a soap, a shampoo. Some people used a conditioner. Very basic routine. There's no real rhyme or reason as for why you did anything. You basically just did things wholesale, and that was it. And you were a kid. Kids don't really produce much body odor. There isn't a whole lot of attention to that. But even the adults, as I remembered, didn't really do a whole lot. They weren't very involved. There weren't big skincare routines. And then we moved to Canada for a couple years. My dad specialized or subspecialized in children's pulmonology. And in Canada, adjacent to the United States, we were exposed all of a sudden to something we had no exposure to or no knowledge of before, and now is North American media. Now, Israel back in the 1980s, single channel, very socialist in a way. They're very structured. Everything was government run. No commercials on TV. We moved to the United States, and I think that's the experience of many people moving to the United States from other nations where the commercial aspect of business is not that well developed. And all of a sudden, you're bombarded with these sales pitches on TV. And a lot of the sales pitches that I noticed on TV, by the way, amazing artistry, amazing production value for these commercials. I think a lot of them were actually far more interesting than the actual shows. And they were pretty good, too, because they needed to sell those advertising slots. But what was interesting is that a lot of those commercials, specifically skincare commercials, were very much directing the user, pressuring the user or the consumer watching on TV to buy skincare products. They were using a lot of lifestyle descriptions, meaning they create this utopic, very glamorous style of life for the characters in the commercial. Everybody's very beautiful. Everybody is shiny and glittery and living the life in the big city, having a lot of fun together. Everybody's socially accepted. And then there's that veiled or underlying threat that if you don't use their product, first of all, you're going to have bad BO. People are not going to like you. The girl's not going to date you. The guy's going to dump you. It's a whole slew of veiled threats underneath those commercials, underpinning them. And then there's the promises of the commercial for better looks or better smell or better this or better that. And that was bombarding everybody in North America way before I showed up on the scene as a kid. And just imagine what sort of pressure that puts on the consumer to buy all these products. Skincare, oral care, a lot of different other products are promising very similar things. So eternal youth, social acceptance, sex appeal and whatnot, but a lot of very important aspects to personal life. So that was a big stark difference.
I'm a marketer's dream, by the way. I
There
just
you
want
go.
you to know.
There
You're
you go.
laughing. You name it, from proactive, I haven't tried crepe erase, to whatever is Dr. whoever it is with Cindy Crawford. I've tried that.
Yeah,
I've
Dr.
bought them all.
Sabag,
And you know what?
the melon.
Nothing works.
Nothing works. That's
Nothing
right.
worked for me, I should say.
That's right.
I had a reaction. I'd get a rash. I'd break out more.
Yeah.
Compliance, accountability, you stop using it. And next thing you know, underneath my sink in my drawers, I've got an explosion of cosmetics.
Right, right.
And none of them work the way they look like they do on TV.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm reading your book, and you're like, plain old water works really well.
Extremely well. Extremely
How
well.
is that even possible?
Well, water is actually not that well known to people out in the public, but water is actually a very powerful solvent in many different ways and has some important properties that make it a very effective remover of what we call dirt from the skin, which is a combination of different skin ingredients. It can actually get those off. And by the way, that has its own set of problems, by the way, because water itself actually increases what we call transepidermal water loss, especially if you use it in excess. So water in itself can be a very powerful cleanser and can actually decrease bacterial counts on the skin. Specifically, there are a number of studies that look at bacteria like Staph or E. coli. So it has that sort of cleansing property and even some antibacterial properties. And we're talking about just tap water. What happens is that a lot of those pitches or calls to action that you see on TV or in the media, they make you think that water's not enough for you, and you actually need to go harder, and you need to go to more extreme measures to get that cleanliness. What the benefit of that cleanliness, by the way, a lot of the times is not that well discussed. And by the way, a lot of the times it's not that well understood to begin with. But there is that sense that if you don't do that, and you were talking about the FOMO earlier, the fear of missing out, if you don't blowtorch your skin, nobody's gonna like you, or something terrible is gonna happen to you. So they make that pitch, but then they go overboard. So I actually go into that in the book. So a lot of the old school detergents really damage the skin in ways that people notice pretty quickly, especially if they have sensitive skin, and then they dial it back a little bit. So we need some gentle cleansers, or we need some gentle this or that. That means a little bit less effective, less damaging.
You're making me think of my dad going old school, like try the Cetaphil, try the plain. But you can't even buy those plain soaps anymore because I went to buy Cetaphil. Well, now it's got aloe and it's got something else.
Right.
It doesn't even have, it's got the name still, but you have to read ingredients.
You have to look hard for it. You
On
have to
what it
really do
is.
your research, yes.
And Dr. Acloque, let me ask you, COVID, viruses, everyone's got Purell, right? And we're washing our hands to not expose people. Are we taking away some of the necessary microbiomes that we have on our skin to help fight other infections?
I mean, I absolutely believe we are. COVID was crazy. I mean, everyone agrees, and regardless of your opinion, people lost their lives to it, right? And we can go down a long rabbit hole trying to figure out who, what, why, and the best way, and why, some people got sick, some others, but the bottom line is it definitely changed and affected the way we were and are going through our lives day to day. Like you said, hand sanitizer. I was giggling because this morning my stepdaughter did something in the car on the way to camp, and she asked me if I had hand sanitizer, and I'm like, no. And she pulled out hers, and everything she has I don't know, all kinds of different perfumes and smells. As soon as she opened the bottle, she started sneezing, and I was like, you know why you're sneezing? And she's like, no, it's my summer allergies. And I was like, okay, if you think so. But she just like, if it doesn't smell good, it's like it doesn't work, right? Water doesn't smell good. So it clearly can't work as well as Dr. Bibi's saying. So
really
it's
interesting. All right, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we're going to get right into the genital issues, testosterone, things that people...
Where's Freddie?
Where's Freddie? You notice the day he gets sick, it's so convenient, right? The other conversation that people never want to have, but yet it's touching so many lives. So more to come on the other side of this commercial break. Freddie, if you want, give us a call, 888-994-4995, or write in your questions for Dr. Bibi and Dr. Acloque. More to come, and we'll be right back.
Do you want the opportunity to have a TV show or podcast? Now, at Amp Media Productions, you can host your very own visual broadcast anywhere around the world. With our talented group of creators, we will provide you with show elements, board operations, and any on-screen visuals you'd like to showcase. All you must do is log onto your computer and communicate with your viewers. Contact Amp Media Productions at 866-224-5422 or email hello@amp2.tv to start your own show today.
Born in Marseille, France, Max Lazega creates whimsical and free-flowing interpretive art. His 40 years in the construction industry created the foundation for his craft. His unique work displays his view of the future with bold and playful combinations of materials and processes, but the methodology remains consistent. He fuses recycled materials and discarded building supplies into a fresh, well-executed approach. Lazega has lived in Miami, Florida most of his life, where he pursues his lifelong passion of creating industrial art. For more information, contact Max Lazega at artworkstudios.org or 786-326-8873. Love the Brooklyn Cafe? Don't miss out on some of the latest merch we have available. Need a new shirt? The Brooklyn Cafe has you covered. We have a variety of shirts in all sizes, ranging from the classic cafe shirt to the highly coveted colorful hot dog shirt. Need something for cold weather? Why not grab one of our cafe hoodies? Or you can snuggle up with one of our soft silk touch fabric blankets. The Brooklyn Cafe has everything you need, from clothing about the show to our signature coffee blends and mugs. Get it while supplies last. Do you suffer from neuropathy? Maybe you do, and you don't even know it. Do you have numbness, pain, burning, or tingling in your hands and feet? Muscle weakness, loss of balance, muscle twitching? Are you not sleeping? Does it feel like pins and needles in your hands and feet? Maybe you don't even have any feeling at all. These symptoms can make life unbearable, but there is help at the Lighthouse Medical Center. Call 754-222-6642 for a no-charge consultation and say goodbye to your neuropathy symptoms. That is 754-222-6642, or visit us online at lighthousemedicalcenter.com.
Do you have diabetes? If you have insurance, you may qualify for a new continuous glucose monitor. With a CGM, you can continuously track your levels and trends, spend more time in range, significantly lower your A1C, and share important data with loved ones and caregivers. Most importantly, a CGM eliminates the one thing most people with diabetes hate: painful finger sticks. Take charge of your health. Order your new continuous glucose monitor today. If you use insulin and have seen your diabetes care provider within the last 6 months, you may qualify for a CGM today. We'll do all the insurance paperwork and deliver your new CGM at little or no out-of-pocket cost to you. Medicare and most insurances cover continuous glucose monitors, so don't wait. Have your insurance handy and call the CGM Health Hotline now.
Welcome to the Chocolate Spectrum, nestled in the heart of Jupiter, Florida, where every sweet indulgence tells a story of hope. Founded by Valerie Herskowitz for her son Blake, who is on the autism spectrum, the family-owned Artisan Chocolate Company has been spreading joy since 2013. Here, individuals with autism and other developmental disabilities are empowered with training and employment opportunities, which not only give them purpose, but also teach valuable skills. Support a greater cause with your exquisite treat by shopping in-store or online at shop.thechocolatespectrum.com, with shipping nationwide all year round, or call at 561-277-9886. The Chocolate Spectrum, where every bite makes a difference.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
The conversation behind the conversation, we're talking medicine and what's going on in our healthcare. But I'm excited that we've got Dr. Bibi and Dr. Acloque joining us. We talked a little bit in the previous segment about what's happening in medicine and what to look for and the power of just using water to cleanse yourself. But now let's talk about some other topics. Dr. Bibi is an expert, I want to say, in the field of genital dermatology and what that looks like. Last week we got to talk to Dr. Acloque about testosterone. And while they're not the same topics, I think that a lot of things are similar topics. We're talking about ideas that people aren't so comfortable expressing, whether it's libido, whether it's ED, whether it's what's going for women, menopause, dry vaginal areas, all the things that somehow get lumped into the conversations that we don't talk about. And who do we go see for these topics? Do we go to a GYN? Do we go to urology? I bet people would never think of going to a dermatologist for genital problems, right? That would be like probably the last person in my mind I would ever think to go to. My first would be, I guess, a GYN or my internist.
They'll show up to me first.
They'll show up to you first, right?
They absolutely do.
Dr. Bibi, you tell me that there's one, I don't want to say disease, condition that you're seeing a lot of that I guess people are seeing Dr. Acloque first for before they even come to you.
Right, so a lot. There's obviously a lot of overlap.
Mic,
there's a lot of overlap between the different specialties in seeing conditions of the skin and the mucosal areas or the genitals. So a lot of people are. I mean, they first of all, sometimes it's a pretty good bet to go to either one of these specialties: urology, gynecology, medicine, primary care. And then you end up seeing dermatology. A lot of people don't make that association. Dermatology, historically, by the way, was actually dermatology and venerology, which is conditions of the genitals, specifically sexually transmitted disease, but made people uncomfortable. There was a PR problem, and slowly but surely it kind of got phased out. But some of us have actually held on to that focus and that interest. And we really are looking for people who, no pun intended, fall through the cracks. They really don't have anyone to, or very few people and resources to see them for their problems because it's very embarrassing. There's a lot of shame and guilt associated with any condition of the genitals or the privates, no matter what the cause is, by the way. Most of them, I can tell you, are actually not sexually transmitted disease, but rather chronic inflammation and other issues of the privates. Some of them obviously are, but no matter what the cause is, there's always that stigma in the back of the person's head, and that prevents people or makes them very, very slow to or very suspicious about talking to anybody about it, let alone to a stranger.
Both of you, the stigma is men and women. Different stigmas?
Mostly different stigmas. I mean, I would say for men, it's always about, it tends to be about masculinity, right? And so you don't want to be associated with something that would, potentially be deemed or thought of about being weak or less than, inferior. I think for both men and women, cleanliness is what they're always concerned about, whether it's an odor or an appearance. And a lot of times it has nothing to do with cleanliness, right? And the key word that Dr. Bibi said was inflammation. And inflammation over the decades has taken on a new meaning. It used to mean, for example, you take a bad step and roll your ankle and it swells. It's like, oh, your ankle is swollen, you got some inflammation in the ankle. But we've come to find out that inflammation is a process that drives a lot of chronic medical conditions. And a lot of these skin changes that we see are from an inflammatory process, whether it's straight inflammatory or maybe a component of autoimmune component with your body's antibodies attacking different cells in the skin or whatnot. They come from this inflammation.
It's interesting. So are we treating some of these topically, outside in or inside out?
Well, so both, but what's interesting, what Dr. Acloque just said about the inflammation and how people view that, And we make that distinction between infection and inflammation, which is something that's a little bit more broad and a lot of the times not related to infection. What the instinct or the intuitive reaction a lot of people have, beyond the fact that they're embarrassed or ashamed or don't know who to turn to when these things happen, is that their responses a lot of the times actually make matters worse because they think they're treating an infection or a hygiene issue, as Dr. Acloque said, and that makes them go harder and actually try to clean the area more, scrub it silly, use hot water, use disinfectants, use antibiotics or antifungals without a clear, specific goal, and that could make matters much worse. And that's where a lot of the times they show up at our office and say, you know, I'm treating this infection, but it's getting worse with everything that I'm doing, which is the whole kitchen sink at it a lot of the times. I don't blame them, by the way, but that's the instinctive reaction, which a lot of the times drives people right off the cliff and into a lot of trouble.
When should patients come see you? At what point do they say, you know what, I can't treat this myself?
For me, I mean, I don't think you should ever treat anything yourself, but I think one of the issues or where a lot of patients or people fall into a problem is not knowing enough and paying enough attention to themselves, their routine, what they're doing, when they do it, why they do it, because then they show up to me and they just have something and the story's all over the place. They come in and they tell my MA, oh, it's been 2 weeks. I walk in, it's been 2 months, a year. Then we can't really pinpoint what it is, when it started, how it could have possibly started. So first and foremost is really like being able to kind of have a times table. When did you first notice it? Yeah, we all see things that may have popped up, right? We didn't really know when, but we know the day that like, oh, this is weird, this is different, this is a problem. And then from there, kind of think about, you know, what has been different. So those are questions that I'm going to ask when you come in. All right, did you change detergents? Are you using a new cologne or perfume? Any new clothes? Have you been exercising more? And then I always go into diet, like what's changed, what's new, are you eating something different? And then any other symptoms that may be associated. If they're bloated, if they're gassy, bowel movements, not drinking water. It's just really a list of things that could lead to, you know, what's been going on, and then what have you done for it? And like Dr. Bibi just pointed out, they throw everything at it, not to exclude some sort of like something with an odor, perfume or something, because if it's smelly, then they want to cover it up, which could be another irritant and causing more issues, more inflammation, and
Well, look at all
worsening the
these
problem.
new perfumes, I want to call them, body sprays. And I laugh because I'm looking at them.
Eau de toilette.
Everything from, so it's not, and they started with women's products, and of course then they had to add men's products in it. Spray everything from the neck down. To me, if you're spraying everything from the waist down and you're putting perfumes and more chemicals, you're only going to have more issues because you're putting things where they really shouldn't be.
Potentially, for sure.
Right? Now you got the men, of course, they got same thing.
Right, and that's creating another niche just to expand into another economical niche. That's what the men's skincare movement is really all about, because skincare companies can only expand so much in the women's arena, and they needed to create new niches, so they created this very fresh vibe for men, increasing awareness. Now they're actually expanding into teenage and children as far as skincare is concerned. And there's plenty of products out there that are being touted on YouTube and other social media channels where the children and teenagers are expected to have a skincare routine, which is basically, I likened it to basically to chocolate-flavored cigarettes. They want to get them hooked early, so they build that skincare awareness and routine and be hooked on those products early on. And like you said, these things, you have to be very discerning of what you put into your body and what you put on your skin. Not everything belongs there. And certainly most people, unless you really need that product for a very specific need, I would say tread lightly. The approach in the skincare industry is very different. They're like, nope, going full throttle.
See, that's my concern is all these chemicals that we're introducing to our bodies. They smell great, and if you've got the money, great, and you want to spend it, terrific. That's the financial side of it. But what it's doing to our bodies, to our autoimmune system, to our endocrine system, people don't realize, and we're starting our kids young, and we've got spray after spray and perfume after perfume. And even if you're buying the same detergent you used to buy, they've changed what's going in it, and you don't know it. So then you're playing, and I've been going through this for a year and a half, so I know. You're playing catch up on, well, it's the same product, but it's not the same product because they've changed it on their end.
Right.
So I know on foods there are the dirty dozen of things that we shouldn't put into our bodies, but I almost wish someone would come up with something of what these perfumes are doing, right? It's shutting our endocrine problems. It's causing thyroid disease. There's so many things we're doing that we don't know we're doing until here we are postmenopausal, and women, Hashimoto's is crazy, right? The amount of thyroid disease is rampant.
And I want to say, so the associations are unclear. So I don't want to say that these things necessarily cause problems.
Correct.
However, the interesting thing is that we need to acknowledge is that, first of all, the regulatory bodies, the academia, and all the big institutions are way behind the curve on really solidifying. This is really sort of a standardized approach or guidelines. So the guidelines, which is basically a set of instructions that are being decided in a committee room by a bunch of people that are just like anybody else. They're experts in their field, obviously. They have some authority, but ultimately they have to take all the literature into account, come up with the decision. They have a timeline. They have to get out there. They have to release those things. And these things rely on the information that was generated through research. Now, if the research is, first of all, partial, or it's faulty, or it's not established enough, you're really running into problems as far as just the information available to these people, not to mention the fact that they're not perfect, they're fallible, just like anybody else, just like you and me. So those guidelines, those public standards or institutional standards, we really need to look at them as maybe anchors, maybe some sort of an idea, but ultimately we have to realize that whether or not there's clear proof that anybody causes a problem, you really want to be very, very careful in what you put into your on your skin and into your body because, well, we just don't know everything. So might as well make it a focused effort to address a specific problem or a specific need rather than those ethereal, oh, I need this, everybody needs that, it just smells good, it looks good. You really have to be very specific about what you do, and not so much because they're terrible or they're horrible. It's just that you want to be economical and spend your time and efforts wisely and effectively so you really make an impact on where it is that you really need it.
Right, so everybody's body is different.
Yes.
Oh, absolutely.
And everybody's needs are different. So what might work for me or not work for me might or not work for you guys, and vice versa.
That's why you have all those cosmetic products underneath your sink.
I moved a couple years ago and I got rid of everything. And now I'm looking back under there going, well, there's this shampoo, there's that conditioner. And I've become so super sensitive to everything that I can try something once and I'm like, I can't try it again. And then I find the same product twice because I didn't think I bought it the first time. And I told my hairdresser, I said, you know what I bought last week? Well, I found an entirely brand new bottle from you that I must have put under the sink. But it's not just me.
No.
Do you guys, and I don't know if we can, are products that you recommend to patients when they come to see you?
It's kind of tough. Something really interesting. We're talking about, your skin and water and stuff. I was listening to something recently, and they came to the conclusion was basically we introduce things into our body 3 ways. You can either breathe it in, you can eat it, or through your skin. So basically, if you don't feel comfortable eating it, you should think twice about putting it on your skin.
That's interesting.
And so when he said water, I was like, oh, I could drink water.
Interesting.
Right? So that's kind of where I start first. Doing things natural. I mean, I tell people, we talk about tea tree oil, coconut oil, these other things first, before like, oh, do you have a drug for that? Do you have a pill for that?
I love that.
That's that's the first thing. They come in, I have this, do you have a pill for that?
Now, do you think it's because you went to medical school outside of the continental U.S.?
No.
Different training. That's just your.
No,
that's just you.
Just me.
I love that because it's so important to find an easier way, a more natural way, I think, than taking a pill. Unless, of course, your physician says it, then you need to. But a pill begets another pill, begets another pill, and then you're in this cycle.
And you're checking labs and all these things.
And they're coming to you
It's-
guys going, here's my Mars, here's my meds list, and then you got to start figuring out what's doing what. But I know we wanted to talk about, and I'm going to not pronounce it right, so I'm going to let you pronounce
Yes.
one of the things that you really work with.
Yeah, so a condition called lichen sclerosis, used to be called lichen sclerosis atrophicus. It's a chronic mucosal and skin condition that is very specific. And Don, that condition is actually quite a terrible condition to have. And the interesting thing about this condition is that there's very little awareness of this condition in the wide public. There's partial or deficient awareness to this condition in the medical community as well. And what ends up happening is that, and I'll explain exactly in a moment why that is, the way it ends up happening is that people go untreated, undiagnosed and untreated, and really not realizing a lot of the times that they actually have it for many long years, sometimes even decades. This condition specifically is an inflammatory condition, not an infection. It's a condition that causes, if you will, irritation of sorts from reasons unknown. And that irritation focuses on the privates, specifically in women and sometimes in men, mostly women. And it starts, the big bulk of people who actually turn to medical help eventually are usually in their 50s, 60s, sometimes even later in life. It doesn't stop, by the way, but the earlier detections usually happen in women's maybe even late 40s, 50s, and 60s. There is another subset of patients that's very, very important to know, and that is prepubescent girls.
What's it start with? How's it feel? What's it look like?
So that's really interesting. So because it's an inflammatory condition, inflammation can have very generic general symptoms to it. So obviously changes in sensation over the area, specifically burning or itching or pain, or all sorts of tightness of the areas and tightness of the skin. And that can start sensorially or sensationally. And then there are changes of texture of the skin, where initially it can start off as redness or pinkness of the skin. You can develop some scale or flakiness over the skin, much like dandruff or psoriasis or other conditions that can appear like that. And then ultimately the condition actually moves forward and progresses chronically to create changes in the appearance of the genitals themselves to actually obliterate and scar the genitals. So that creates some serious damage, many times irreversible damage. And those scars have a very specific look to them. They appear like glistening ivory white texture on the surface. So it looks almost like shiny surface, almost like veneered surface, which is ivory white in the late stages of the condition. So it's a very distinct look, but interestingly enough, because it is white, that gets mistaken for a lot of different things. In particular, especially in the earlier, in the prepubescent girls, and by the way, in women who have it chronically, who get treated by people who are not necessarily aware of the condition, they can get mistaken for having a yeast infection, for example, or having all sorts of other irritations of sort. And sometimes, by the way, they may be, especially in the older population demographic, they may be, and by the way, they may overlap, or they may be mistaken to have only some sort of an estrogen deficiency issue or postmenopausal symptoms. So there's a lot of overlap that can sometimes push providers or healthcare professionals to diagnose the problem a certain way and mistreat it, and then that gets rolled over and the can gets kicked down the road again. Now these obviously, this has serious consequences to the patient that suffers from the condition. And again, as we said earlier, a lot of different sentiments and emotions around issues of the privates. Not a whole lot of people to talk to. It's not something you bring up at the family dinner table. Sometimes even not with your husband or with your spouse or other people in your life. These things are very difficult to discuss. And by the way, people find it very challenging to talk to doctors as well. They need to know that the doctor is actually the right doctor for the job. There's obviously some personal compatibility and chemistry questions as well when you show up at a doctor's office. Can I trust this person? Can I not trust this person? And what do they know? So the bulk of patients that I see are actually referrals from other doctors that know that I've actually discussed this with, who know that I'm actually focused on treating this issue and have some expertise and some track record in treating it, and know how to approach it. So doctors can sometimes refer to you. Patients can sometimes refer other patients. Obviously, it's much more rare for someone to discuss this with somebody in their life because it's so embarrassing for a lot of people, or they don't know. I mean, they just want to keep things.
It's interesting that you said even women to their husbands, because postmenopausal women, and we were talking earlier, as we age, everything ages. Our partners age, we age,
Right.
Intimacy changes, and it's just part of the natural progression of aging. So you
Yes.
may say, you know what, it's my estrogen level's bad, I'm going through menopause. You don't even want to tell your husband because it's like, here we go again. It's one more symptom. So you're absolutely right. It goes undiscussed even with your partner, your husband.
Absolutely.
And then you think, well, if I can't talk to them, I really can't go to the doctor, because what am I going to the doctor for?
Yes.
It's not. By the time a patient comes sees one of you, there's a whole lot of things. They've built up mountains in their head, right?
A lot of researching on Google.
A lot of researching on Google. They think they've got a terminal illness. There's no hope for them. And then you guys are playing psychiatrist, physician, mental health counselor, all of that.
Yeah, I guess a sort of marital counseling. It's everything.
That
so.
too, right? Because how does that, in ED, we talked about testosterone before. There's got to be a whole lot of marital counseling going on in that department for you.
Yeah, and so for the most parts, when patients come to see me, I like them to come in alone, but especially for men, and they have some kind of performance issue, it's good when they come in with their significant other, because especially women, they tell. So
Do they?
sometimes it's like a lot of like beating around the bush. Okay, so you came to Established Care, welcome to the office, and I see you have high blood pressure. Looks good, taking these meds. You can come for anything else bothering you? And they're kind of quiet, but you know that they're thinking about some stuff. And then, the wife is looking at him and she just makes a face, and you're like, okay, what is it? I know what it has to deal with, but I don't know specifically, right? So, I'm like, okay, she giggled, like, what are you not telling me? And then they finally come out with it, and then we can have a conversation. And then if I have a question, they don't answer outright, then I just look at the other person there, right? They'll give me more information so I can actually figure out or come to a decision of how we're going to address it, how to approach it, and go from there. But it's again, talking about something hormonal, something. Some people have issues talking about their feelings, right? And if it's more psychologic or psychiatric based, and then obviously if it's something that is a growth or something, whether it's fear, avoidance, family history, there's a lot of things that play into it. So there are times when having more than just the patient are beneficial. Other times it's like, okay, stop answering. I'm talking to this person.
The important, and I'm glad we're doing this, I think the important part is having the conversation, whether it be with your spouse, a close friend, whatever you're comfortable with, or having the conversation with your physician to find the right physician. That's the important thing, is getting treatment. And social media, as great as it is, because that's how we all run our lives, is as detrimental as it can be, because everyone is going through something. Not everyone is as perfect as you see on that screen. Everyone's going through something, and they may just not admit it. I actually saw Brooke Shields put a piece together with People magazine, and she's 59. 59 is 59, whether you're Brooke Shields or you're me or you're you in your late 50s. We're all going through similar things. So the fact that she was honest enough to say, I'm always tired. I'm tired when I'm a mom. I'm tired as a businesswoman. I'm tired of hormones changing. And that's the female side. Men have to be going through their own changes as well. So just have the conversation. I think that's the most important thing. And I'm hoping that we can get a medical show going with the both of you, and maybe even expand it out to other networks and other professionals. Maybe we bring in nutrition, right? Maybe we bring in psychiatry or mental health awareness, because it all comes together. And that's the nice thing about medicine now and physicians, is you're all working together. It's not just one, right? Because everything, whether it's inflammation from food, or detergents, skin, GYN, it all comes together for you, the person, and the patient. So I love this whole approach. It's holistic, but yet it's the holistic as the whole.
Oh, it always was holistic. It's just that I think somewhere along
changed it. We lost it.
somewhere along the road, I think we kind of lost sight of that a little bit. But I think there's a big movement right now, especially with all the information that's available out in the public and social media, and people they're disconnected in some ways, but they're a lot more connected to sources of information. So I think there is a big surge towards the so-called holistic, which is really just looking at things beyond the very narrow prism of prescription of medications and pharmaceuticals, and really looking at more, as Dr. Acloque was saying, fitness, nutrition, just a whole comprehensive look at the person's lifestyle and how you can actually improve on the various aspects of that lifestyle.
It's an important conversation. How do people get your book, Dr. Bibi, or get in touch with you?
Oh, thanks, Dawn. So my book is available on Amazon.com. Go to Six Skin, Skincare Made Simple. We now have an Audible version as well, and you can get it in Kindle and paperback.
And Dr. Acloque, how do people get in touch with you?
You can call us at the office. We're in Boynton Beach. Phone number is 561-449-0066. Check us out on our website, obsidianhealth.care, or just cruise by the office. Door's always open.
I love it. Thank you both for joining us. I love this conversation. Freddie, I wish you were here. You'd be squirming in your seat right now. I get to go a little more detail-oriented when he's not squirming next to me. We're going to take a commercial break. More to come. I think since it's National Intern Day, our crew have put together a game or two. We'll see what it looks like for them on their testimonials as well. Stay tuned, and we'll be right back.
When it comes to protecting what matters most, your family, your business, your peace of mind, you need reliable fire protection. Introducing All Fire Extinguisher Depot, Fire Extinguisher Service. Our certified technicians ensure your extinguishers are always ready to respond to emergencies. Before and after, we leave your fire safety in top-notch condition. Join the many satisfied clients who trust All Fire Extinguisher Depot for fire extinguisher service. Because when it comes to fire safety, there's no compromise. Contact All Fire Extinguisher Depot at 786-704-2750 to get your extinguisher service today. Your safety is our priority. That's at 786-704-2750. All Fire Extinguisher Depot, protecting what matters.
Hey Kaylee, what's up?
Hey, nothing, what's up?
Nothing, just looking for music for Grandpa I listen to while we're in the car.
What's wrong with listen to now?
Let's just say we have different tastes, you know?
Why don't you try listen to a podcast on Spotify?
Like which one?
The Broken Cafe Studio one is really good.
Okay, I'll try that one out, thanks.
It's lunchtime and the Brooklyn Cafe is open for business. Live from the Amp Media Studios, Dawn and Freddie S. and their team are ready to serve up a huge portion of fun for lunch with friends and neighbors. So let's break open that lunch pail and unwrap that sandwich you brought.
Has your heater busted, computer crashed, appliance broken? Then you need ARW Home.
Life's been pretty worry-free since I got coverage with ARW Home. Don't waste thousands of dollars on air conditioning, appliance repair, and replacements. Save that money with ARW Home. Protection plans that cover household appliances, systems, and electronics.
My air conditioning broke on a Sunday. I called ARW, and they came out and fixed it right away.
Get your free quote today. Call or go to arwhome.com now.
Imagine this is your money and someone wants to take it from you. Who is it? The IRS. Guess what? They want your money and they can take it, all of it if they want. Remember, they sent you that letter right over here that said, hey, you owe us a bunch of cash and we're going to take it from you right now. So what do? You fight back by letting our team of experts work it out with the IRS so you can keep your money. And hey, we're good at what we do. When you hire us, you get a team of guys on your side that know the IRS laws, and we'll fight really hard to save your money. So, if you owe the IRS a ton of cash and you want to keep it, call right now and learn for free how we can help you put it back in your pocket. 5 minutes of your time right now can save you thousands of dollars. And the best part, it's a free call, so please call right now.
Attention timeshare owners. This is an urgent consumer alert from the Timeshare Exit Hotline, a national company specializing in helping consumers legally get out of their expensive timeshare contracts. We're offering you a way to legally get rid of your timeshare. So if you're fed up with the maintenance fees that keep on coming and want to learn if you can terminate your timeshare legally and permanently, call today. Call the number on your screen today. It's a free call.
The owners of Amp Media Productions and the Brooklyn Cafe show, Don and Freddie S., are excited to announce the launch of its new nonprofit educational charity, the Amp Media Futures Foundation. This foundation gives college students the tools that they need by providing them hands-on learning experiences in business, marketing, communication, and media creation. To donate or volunteer, contact AMP2 Media Productions by email at info@ampfutures.org.
You've been watching the Brooklyn Cafe Show. Join us each day and after hours as we talk about the hot topics to open the conversations and share a few laughs. Now, back to Dawn and Freddie S.
It has been one of the most miraculous experiences of my life. I started here just over about 2 years ago, and they've really helped me realize and understand how good I can be at this kind of thing.
Well, I mean, if you look around the studio, there's plenty of cameras, lights shining in your face, and I think that alone, understanding how significant and how huge this studio is, it's very unique. It gives me the idea of what to expect when entering a professional environment.
They do a really good job of enforcing collaboration in the space, so I feel like no idea is a dumb idea.
A lot of people, myself included, I think have gained a lot of confidence, skills, being able to be here and do all the work that gets, put our way without doubting.
While being at Amp Media, I've learned so much about how to build a show and what to do, and really how it all comes together. And when I started, I knew almost nothing about a camera or audio, but now I went from not being able to touch the computer to teaching it.
The people that we have surrounding us is definitely one of my favorite parts of being in the studio. A really great environment with great energy and positive energy that come into the studio, and then give the guests that come in really good positive energy and feedback, and then it makes it more enjoyable.
Here, I see students coming from all over, different universities, and everyone is different. So I learned how to communicate with every individual and find approach to every producer.
Hello, and welcome back to the show.
And look who's back.
Yeah.
And he's
What's
back.
Oh, yeah, okay, whatever.
Since it's National Interns Day, Josh used to be an intern with us, and now he's here, and he's kind of our consultant on things that we need to do. So, and Abdullah, who you met beginning the show, has put a game together for us for a National Intern Day. I'm going to send some pictures over to FAU and Lynn University because I know they wanted to post some pictures. So, Abdullah, take it away. What do we got?
Make sure. And okay, we're already starting.
Jay always wins this. You always win these.
Mr. Blue Sky? Oh, you gotta do the combination?
Yes, you have to guess. You have to guess two
Oh.
songs.
Yeah, it's Mr. Blue Sky.
What do you think, Dr. Acloque?
Into the Void. You have Black Sabbath in there?
Like the beat of one song. And
I don't know.
Lose Yourself.
I heard
Mr.
Lose
Blue
Yourself.
Sky.
That was about.
Song 2.
You could be my black Kate Moss tonight. Play secretary on the boss tonight. And you don't give a fuck what they all say.
Oh, yes.
Abdullah!
Oh, wait, really?
Yes.
You did that for the last two.
Stronger and float on.
Little Franz Ferdinand.
Stronger float on.
No, it's...
Oh,
man, that's
Stronger float on.
Yeah, I know.
The music video for that's taken from
Yeah.
Nice job, Dr. Jude.
I played Rock Band, that's why I know that.
Okay, guys.
Ariana Grande.
That's the original one.
Huh?
Moonlight Sonata. Seven Rings.
Yeah.
But it's is that the Sound of Music?
No.
Well,
It's the same melody.
That's the melody, that's the melody.
Raindrops.
Nice. How many songs we have, Abdullah?
10 as always.
If any of you have first, we're going to skip them. Rock band over there, what do you have?
What is that? Oh, is that in the end?
Oh, that's a party rock and.
Yeah, the first one, I think.
Yeah. I don't know Numb, but.
Oh, we got
I know that
pizza.
was party rock for sure.
Thank you, Baxton. What happened?
How does that go? Oh, yeah.
I start from the verse because the chorus will give it away.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, play the last 5 songs
She
of us.
says she's no good with words, but I'm worse. But started out a joke of a romantic stuck to my tongue. Way down with.
I don't know what that bass line
Sounds like
is.
Panic at the Disco.
I think that's Let's Get It Started.
Let's get it started, yeah.
Dong. Isn't that the Black Eyed Peas?
Yes, that's the book.
Yeah.
Dude, I was saying this yesterday, bro. The Black Eyed Peas have.
That would be.
Huh?
Just Dance. Yeah. Just Dance and Fame.
Abdullah, are you putting these together? The songs?
These mashups, no, I didn't make these. These I found from the internet.
You make them.
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah.
Which is my
Dang.
Dude,
Yeah.
when you pulled out the separating the audio from the video.
What
I'm living in the 21st century, doing something mean to it, do it better than anybody
Is it the B-52? Rock Lobster!
I guess maybe some great music, no one man's at.
All that power. Hey, Jude, no. Rock Lobster power, yeah.
Rock, lobster, and power. The other side of our physician over there, they all know music. Music, art.
Correct.
Everybody's a big music head.
What you gonna do with all that junk? All that junk inside the trunk? Get you drunk, get you drunk up my heart.
Those 12ers? Oh.
That's not
Huh?
a choice.
Turkish March.
Turkish
That's
March?
my
Eine
humps.
Nachtmusik. It's that one. Eine kleine Nachtmusik. What do you mean, bro? You never took lower school music class?
Yo, yeah.
Yeah, bro. Oh, it's not. Oh, it's.
And he gets it again. Dr. Acloque for the win. No song 9.
Is that like
What's
Halloween?
that for, like the Flintstones? B-52?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Psycho and Love,
Love
Shack.
Shack, Psycho Baby.
Love sex.
That one actually worked pretty well together.
Dude, they
Not
always
gonna lie.
do.
Yeah, they got that nice little combination.
You should bring me to life
Give me
on
that pizza
Mary
Rica.
Shelley's Frankenstein.
Oh.
Thanks. Last one.
Ooh.
Special place in hell. I've got a gift for you. The perfect place to dwell.
Huh?
Dame tu cositas.
Jay, what is it?
Despacito, it's Despacito. That's what I heard.
That's the one.
What? Was the
Despacito.
I know the vocals was not from Live.
No, wait, no.
And he got it again. Wow.
That was
I didn't perfect.
And Dr. Acloque for the win. Wow,
Yes,
impressive.
yes.
I think I heard at least 3 or 4 back there. Impressive, see? That's the other side of medicine. It's the holistic side of being
You
the
have to have
person.
healthy outlets.
You definitely need different outlets. Healthy habits and different outlets.
Healthy habits.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
So,
And if they gave you like they gave you any of the tracks, give you some kind of like whiplash, because that's like the purpose of some of these, like when people make these combos, to give like whiplash, like they give you like, oh my God, why are these 2 songs together? They shouldn't, but yet somehow it works.
so nice job, Abdullah.
I bet you guys was so shocked to hear that the cycle and
that was crazy.
That one worked
and
really good.
Why are you and Abdullah so like?
We just gotta turn a light on them.
shadows and darkness?
Can you turn a light on them, please, Max?
Play with it later.
We'll turn that over to them. All right. Ready to wrap this up. Dr. Acloque, thank you so much for joining us.
No, thank you for having me anytime. I love it. I love being able to talk, communicate, educate, laugh. I love the space you guys have here and the work that you and Freddie do, so thank you.
We love having you, and the conversation continues because, if you can get comfortable with your healthcare provider, then you're more apt to go and not treat yourself and no Dr. Google. So you can find more information about Dr. Acloque at Obsidian Healthcare.
ObsidianHealth.care.
ObsidianHealth.care. And to our interns, thank you all for a wonderful show.
Thank you, interns. Thank you, interns.
To all the local universities and the non-local universities that support us, support our interns, support Amp Media Futures Foundation program. And to Pizzeria Thursday, if you are in the area, get a pie for $12, an entire pie. Pick it up, 561-826-8663. Tell them the Brooklyn Cafe Show sent you, or use Abraham's name because everyone seems to know him in town. Have a great afternoon, everyone. Stay safe, be kind to each other. Tune in tonight. We've got a full slate of shows from Artist Loft starting at 5 o'clock to All County, You and Your Doctor, Making Money with Laura Sanders, and then a surprise at 7:30. Have a great afternoon, Josh. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll see you tomorrow, 9 a.m. drive time. That's a surprise.
Don't be late.
Well, that's about it for today. Even though the show's over, the Brooklyn Cafe is always open for business. You're invited to join the fun every day from 12 to 2. If you missed some of the laughs from today, Dawn and Freddie S. will bring you more good cheer next time. You can follow the Brooklyn Cafe on Facebook at the Brooklyn Cafe TV to rewatch every minute of the show. We'll see you next time.